Let's jump right into this explainer and explore a really fascinating early education lesson plan. It's one that brilliantly pairs your basic phonics with some surprisingly deep character development. We're unpacking a curriculum piece from Crimson Grove called K is for Kindness, Kings and Queens. And honestly, it completely reimagines how we introduce the alphabet. It's not just about helping young minds memorize letters anymore. It's literally about shaping who they become as people.
So, can learning the alphabet simultaneously teach us how to be good friends? It's a pretty profound question, right? But it forms the absolute core strategy of this curriculum, which is something called dual-track learning. It challenges educators to ask a simple question. Why just teach the mechanics of the letter K when you can seamlessly weave in the concept of kindness at the exact same time?
Here is our roadmap for today's journey. 1. Literacy meets character development. 2. Mastering the K sound. 3. Building a thematic vocabulary. 4. Sentences to spark imagination. And 5. Practice, reinforcement, and tracing.
Starting off with Section 1, Literacy meets Character Development. Right out of the gate, the curriculum establishes this dual-purpose methodology. The themes are explicitly mapped out for us: kindness, caring, friendship, leadership, respect, and helping others. Educators aren't just teaching a consonant here. They are intentionally setting this overarching expectation for empathy before a kid even picks up a pencil. It's really foundational stuff.
To really anchor these abstract themes, the lesson leverages some highly curated visual cues. Think about imagery of children helping one another, placed right alongside fun, K-themed items like crowns, kites, and kittens playing. These aren't just random classroom decorations. They cultivate a bright, welcoming environment that subconsciously reinforces the whole theme of the lesson.
Moving to Section 2, Mastering the K sound.
So here we officially meet the letter K. What's absolutely fascinating about this phonetic introduction is how the educator grounds that hard K sound with highly familiar anchor words. We're talking kite, king, kitten, and key. The student instantly hears the practical application in words they already know and can easily visualize in their head.
To make this interactive, the lesson uses a really simple phonetic chant. K says K, K, K. It asks the entire classroom to say the sound out loud together. Now, if you've ever heard a room full of 5-year-olds chanting, you know for sure it's energetic. But it's also a vital step that transforms passive listening into communal muscle memory.
Section 3, Building a Thematic Vocabulary.
The curriculum smartly expands that single phonetic sound into a robust 20-word vocabulary list, starting with tangible animals and objects. Words like kangaroo, kiwi, kite, and kayak, these easily capture a child's imagination. Because they're highly concrete nouns, a young learner can picture a kangaroo hopping perfectly in their mind's eye, which makes retention so much easier.
But notice how the vocabulary intentionally scales up in cognitive difficulty. It introduces abstract socio-emotional concepts, words like kind, kindness, keep, and knowledge. This is that dual-track learning in action right here. By slipping profound concepts like knowledge right alongside physical objects, it deeply enriches the child's descriptive toolkit.
Section 4, Sentences to Spark Imagination.
We shift from isolated vocabulary to contextual reading practice with sentences like, "The king flew a kite near the castle," or "Katie found the key in the kitchen." These weave those target words into engaging little mini-narratives. Students aren't just reciting sounds anymore, they're uncovering little stories, which is incredibly motivating for a developing reader.
But interspersed within those fun stories, you suddenly get a sentence like this: kind children help their friends. This is a crucial pedagogical pivot. It seamlessly integrates that overarching character development theme straight back into the phonics exercise. The child is practicing their reading mechanics, sure, but simultaneously they're absorbing a direct lesson on social behavior.
And it builds on that with, kindness makes everyone smile. This evokes real emotional comprehension, brilliantly bridging the gap between rote memorization and understanding how to actually be a positive presence. It just proves that teaching phonics doesn't have to be sterile, it can be deeply humanizing.
And finally, Section 5, Practice, Reinforcement, and Tracing.
This final block acts as a structured testing environment that carefully escalates in difficulty. It moves from basic letter recognition, like simply circling the letter, up through matching, filling in blanks, reading, and finally culminating in active, independent writing. It's a highly intentional, layered approach to really securing that comprehension.
Take the fill-in-the-blank activities, for instance. You can see how they directly test phonetic mastery.
By seeing ITE and knowing they need to supply the K to make kite, students are forced to actively recall both the physical shape of the letter and its starting sound simultaneously. It's like a mini puzzle for their brain.
Then, the tracing exercises provide essential fine motor skill reinforcement. By tracing the upper and lowercase k, followed by those full anchor words, a student's physical muscle memory syncs up with their newly acquired cognitive recognition. They learn exactly how it feels to write the concepts they've been studying.
The lesson plan concludes with this beautifully thematic encouragement. Kindness and knowledge help us grow. It serves as a gentle reminder to the student of the dual purpose behind everything they just learned, elegantly tying the academic pursuit of knowledge directly to the character trait of kindness.
As we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with this powerful thought, found at the very end of the material. Kind hearts build bright futures. It perfectly encapsulates the entire philosophy behind this early education design, and I genuinely ask you to consider, how can we integrate more of these holistic, dual-purpose strategies into the future of education? Because if learning a single letter can teach a child so much about empathy and friendship, well, imagine what an entire curriculum built this way could do.